Good morning. Welcome back to another pre-market video. My name is Franco and this is Trading Futures Live. Let's do this. All right, so on the economic side of news, we don't have much today. All yellow folders here. I don't know why investing.com is down, the website. So we do have these at 9:15, so it will not affect our trading during market hours. Then feral budget balance is gonna come out at any time. We don't know yet what time. Nothing else. And the week is gonna be pretty quiet though. Yeah, nothing else. News from the CAD dollar tomorrow. Thursday, existing home sales, unemployment claims, the usual. Philly Fed manufacturing index. We'll see how much it can do to the markets. On Friday, nothing. So very quiet week. Okay. All right. So we did have the Goldman Sachs earnings in the morning. They beat across the board. They beat EPS and revenue. The stock is almost 4% up pre-market. Okay, so we can check that if we have time at the end. All right, let's go to the dollar, because the dollar is the one that is motivating all these move up in the markets. It's known that the BOJ and the BOE, Bank of England and Bank of Japan, they're aggressively selling dollars to protect their currency. And I think that was a matter of time that something like that could happen. Even though those two central banks are selling dollars in big bulks, like a lot, I don't think the dollar is giving up a lot of its gains, right? If we go to the weekly chart, the week is still young, so we're just Tuesday. Okay, this thing can manage to close here to the upside. And if you go back and see, we are in a period that we were sideways for probably 2 years. So this is an area that the dollar was sideways for 2 years. Okay, very little movement, and then after the dot-com bubble, the dollar started to flip lower. Okay, but nevertheless, we knew this is an area that the dollar is gonna be in supply, right? So we need to prepare for that. I was comparing this to the NQ, but we can do it later during the live stream. I don't have time on this video to do it. So if you want to compare how the dollar performed against the NQ or the ES, I rather the ES, right? Because the NQ was in a clear bubble at the time, but the ES had a normal recession behavior. Okay. We can do it later. So here is an area from the 2000s, right? 20 years later, we are here, and the dollar is starting to move sideways. So we've been here for 5 weeks, 4 weeks, and then this one, okay? Is yet to see where it's going to happen. Let's go to a daily chart. So I do have this area that is tested already, right here. So we're right now in this demand. I don't think it's gonna sustain this momentum to the upside, but nevertheless, it's right there. Hasn't been blown yet. So if we happen to break to the downside, we do have all these pivots here. Can be the next stop. Okay. Already validated by this. So if the dollar in the upcoming days, right, this is the daily chart, we're gonna go to a lower time frame. So if we hold here and continue to the upside. That's one possibility, and I think is a very likely scenario. If we break to the downside effectively in the upcoming days, a comeback to this point is going to be a pretty nice long in the equity markets. Okay, right here. So this is the daily chart. So these are the two scenarios on the daily chart. Today, this could take weeks to develop. Okay, today we are in demand. The demand was working during the London session. So here it is. Yesterday we managed to hit here at like afternoon, right? And the market moved sideways the entire afternoon. Okay, after like 12, we closed the live stream. I did take a second trade, another short right there because the dollar was in this demand. I was partially, I was like 1.5 to 1, and then it reversed to me and stopped me out of break even, right? It was not, it was already tested the zone, so it was a very little size that I put just to see if we could have some follow through to the short side, but we didn't. Okay, since I got in a very good zone, meaning it was an extreme, I managed to move my stop to break even after the move, and I didn't lose any money. So yesterday I took 2 trades, both break evens. Good morning, Stag Sobernatic. Welcome. All right, so here midnight during Asia, the dollar was trying to spike up. Now came London. So I will pay attention to this candle, right? This 30-minute candle right here today. So I want to put 2 lines. This is London session, right? This is London session open right here. So while we're here, we're thinking, all right, this thing can bounce to the upside. If this goes to the lower part of the demand, right, and it comes back up, I will try to re-engage long in the equity markets for a continuation to the downside. Okay. Now the London session, right, was sideways the entire. Like if you see here, yes, we went up, but very, very narrowly. Like we didn't have a trend, a defined trend, right? And we are gonna compare these times on the equity markets to see the zones. Okay, but for now, if this holds, right? If this holds, a comeback to this point is gonna be a good short, right? I don't want to think that the market will drop today. The market are up 2% or something. Yeah, 2.5%. But I'm gonna be very clear and very frank with you. When the market moves so fast, I don't trust the way up to be sustainable. Okay, if I have a slow scales, bull flags, and so on, I will rely more on those zones on its way up. But since it has been moving in a way that is kind of like a squeeze, I don't think if prices come back down, I think it's easier to blow all these areas. Okay, and we're gonna go check the overnight later in this video, so and see if we can find some zones on where to rely on for the trading session. Okay, on the NQ, on the ES. So the dollar is in the demand, right? It's not the high, it's not the best quality. It's a flip zone right here, right? But it has this pivot that is pretty good. This pivot from September 22nd, right? And it's working pretty nicely right here. Okay. All right, so that's the 30-minute. The bond yields, there's not much here. I did have this demand that is still playing out. Regarding the supply, I don't have nothing to the left, so I don't have information, so I need to rely on this. Nevertheless, we have been sideways since the 11th, the 10th, October 10th, right? Like a week. After we broke to the north of 4%, started to reject to the downside. But now we're trying to digest the 4%, right? Remember, we did have those periods of consolidation before. Now we came to 4% and the market immediately rejected that area, and we moved sideways around like 3.80 until we digested that, and then we came back to 350. The market thinks that that's too low, and now we're trying to digest this area, right? I think ultimately, fundamentally, the economy is screaming for more like rate hikes, right? Due to inflation, but that's another thing. Technically, there's nothing I can tell about this chart, but if it's in demand again, I will be looking for shorts, right? Supply, on the supply side, I don't have much other than this 4.04%, but it's not high quality. So I wouldn't pay attention to this until I have something that gets created during trading session in real time. I wouldn't pay attention to this pivot, okay? All right. The VIX, like we expected yesterday, we had some more downside and another engulfing candle right here on the daily. We are in this demand. Honestly, I don't think the demand is going to be very impactful. Let's go to a lower time frame. From here, I think this was CPI, right? This was the CPI day, Friday the 7th. We probably will have some spike here, but it's yet to see. The location of this demand is not the best one. I would rather like 30, right? Like around this level with this pivot aligned. But nevertheless, this is an area that is right there, and it was created during the CPI data release. So I do think is important to just to pay attention to it, okay? Remember, I don't use the VIX as a real-time enhancer for my trading because I think the VIX is lagging a little bit, okay? The VIX is gonna rely on data that the market is on market behavior, right? So the market moves and then the VIX move, right? Or at least I haven't found any edge in the VIX. I pay attention to it because I do some options trading. So we sell options in a portfolio. So I want to pay attention to this, right? The VIX also give me a more broad view of how the market is taking the movements, right? If investors are actually panicking or they're just very easy absorbing whatever the market is doing, okay? All right, CL, high prop demand, blown, right? We did have the spike here, came back, already used up, we're going lower, okay? Regarding the sell area that we had here, it was broken, completely broken after this spike. Now here, we came yesterday, we tried to get here to 87, now we're going lower, right? So ultimately, sellers are the ones in control here in crude oil. Since we hit the 92 supply, we're going lower. Now this demand is right there. It was a supply zone. Now let's see if this demand works, but I don't think the demand will put some pressures to the upside Fundamentally, crude oil has been very like sensitive to this OPEC and deflationary forces that the Fed is trying to put into the economy. So crude oil has been dropping since I think it is June, mid-June, right? After the war spike, crude oil has been but dropping. Okay. Now, one thing that gets my attention is that OPEC is trying to reduce production. So that tells me that they are expecting lower prices, right? And they are trying to hold on to the price. Okay. All right, let's go to the ES because the ES has a very interesting chart. So this is Friday. Yesterday we closed. We managed to close the trading session near this supply, right? We gapped up. We came here. Now we blew the supply up, right? And we already have the retest for the continuation pattern. You guys see this? We broke the supply and we came back to the retest. So my strategy today regarding the equity markets, right? The dollar is in demand. So I already said that I don't trust the movement to the upside because it was too fast. I didn't have any consolidation. And if I try to find a consolidation area is this one, right? From after the movement yesterday to the upside, like this is where the market opened right here. This is the open, right? And we moved upside to the upside a little bit. So we were gapping up and we moved sideways the rest of the day. So if I want to find a high quality demand right here, it has to be this one, right? And I have to go to a lower time frame because I don't have the shape here. I don't have the geometry, right? So if I go to the 5 minutes and I try to see what is inside this picture, I would say like this one, right? But if you guys see this, it's just in the middle of nowhere. If you see the movement, let's go to the daily, right? Sorry, that is very confusing, right? So this is the demand right here, 36.78. It's just in the middle of nowhere. Like we did have an upside, and this was the rejection from Friday. Then sorry, this was I think this was the what was it? CPI data. Yes, CPI data. Then Friday. Then yesterday. Okay, so on the CPI, if you go back on the CPI day, let's go and check the CPI day, right? I want to see. It had this pivot. It had this supply. Well, no, it's not very bad. So I do have some pivots to rely on right here. They're close, right? It's not ideal. Like I want to see the location around here, right? Closer to this consolidation, right? The location it's not ideal, but this is the high quality demand that I can find in this run up. Now, all this is overnight, gapping up. Similar to yesterday. Yesterday, we gapped up and then we held here. So every sell order was absorbed to the upside. There was no room to sell much. Either the long was not. I did have one opportunity long, and they were very limited. It was very sideways the entire day. Yes, we went up, but if you were not from here if you were not in from here, like in reality, we did have a completely sideways day. Okay. Today is the same story. We're gapping up. Now the dollar is in a better position, is in a better demand, right? And I want to correlate. I don't have any supply here other than this drop here from what was this, Friday 7th? What news we had here? This was CPI, right? Yes. This was no, this was not CPI. Let's go back. Unemployment, I think. Yeah, it was the unemployment. Yes. So here's the unemployment move, right? Is yet to see if there still have some left supply right here. But remember, all this is overnight. The supply on the trading hours gets to 37.70, right? And we already went through that level. Let's see if there are more orders left in this area. So for me to take a short today, I will have to wait for a formation to get created real time, and I will mark off some demands right here on the overnight for my target, right? Regarding the demand side, I will have to again wait for the formations to be created during the trading hours, because all this is overnight, and the target will be during the trading hours. So I will have to wait for the zones there so I can put the target. So I do have this pre-market demand on the ES. Pretty good formation right here. So 37.37 to 37.23, right? So that's the demand on the pre-market. Remember, I will not be taking this limit order. I need to see some formations to be created, okay? 37.37 for those who trade the ES. All right. Watch the dollar at all times, because the dollar is hitting some demand. So if we turn around in the dollar, I don't want to have the assumption that the dollar will drop with no retracement, okay? Any retracement on the dollar is gonna cause a drop here, okay? Same story with the NQ. Now with the NQ, I do have some supply. 1137.25. This was a supply that I had here for days. Now, this is a pre-market supply. Remember, this is the unemployment day, and then I had this the movement from the unemployment news release. Okay. So remember, the way I trade, I look for orders that are there, and I don't see. I know that market behavior motivates other traders to put orders in real time, but I like to see formations, and I do think there are orders left right there. Okay, not necessarily that people are engaging here real time. That's why I see here that on the pre-market, right, we have this drop right here, right here from the unemployment. This pivot is pretty important, because this pivot was created at 10 a.m. in the morning, right? We did have some rejections here, right? We blew through it. We came back. We retested. Now we are again revisiting this level that is very important. Okay. So I will pay attention to this supply. Again, is a pre-market supply, so I will not be taking any limit orders within here. I will need some formations, right? And the same area. Now here I do have more reliability in this area on the NQ because I have this pivot, right? And the area on the lower time frame is, that's a pre-market demand. So let me get rid of this one. Actually, on the NQ, I do like this one. During the Asia session. Yeah, nothing spectacular here. What is 3 in the morning? 3 in the morning is right here. Yeah, no. So I'm gonna put this one, but I don't think it's high quality. It's a bit lower than in the ES, right? Similar area, but it's not the same. So remember, on the ES, I do have this level right around this one, but the formation here is not there. Like, I needed this candle to come here and retest all these levels here, but not in the NQ. So probably the NQ will turn a little bit weaker than the ES. If you guys see, here's the formation on the ES, and here's this is the one that I'm marking off on the NQ, this one, okay? But I think the ES has this one here that is a higher quality, okay? I will be monitoring these both demands in real time during the trading session if we get any retracement to the downside, okay? All right, so 9:19. Let's wrap up this video. See you guys in 10 minutes for the live trading session, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.